Hello and welcome to the Linked Alliance Ticketing Implementation Project. For this project, our client was the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital here in Memphis, Tennessee. And as a group, our scope was to implement a help desk ticketing system that enhanced the technical functionality, usability, and scalability across an enterprise network by way of user issues with technical devices, functions, hardware or software resolution, and solutions verified through acknowledgement, retrieval, and closure of ticketing process in a secure and customer-friendly environment. The overall outcome for St. Jude was to ensure that the highest of standards are sustained and the integrity of the system is transparent, adding a needed value as an accountable care organization. As a group, we evaluated its current system, we identified a problem, and we began to create challenges to that problem. For example, the current system at St. Jude is ServiceNow, which is essentially a cloud-based enterprise system. And the main problem was that the system does not reach all function areas within St. Jude. And so that left us in a position to break down what our service was going to eventually end up performing or curtailing, I should say, how it was going to perform, who was going to have access to the system, so on and so forth. So what this means is all departments are not uniformly operating under one cloud-based platform, which as a group, we wanted to identify that anybody operating in St. Jude could use the same ticketing platform. And then, of course, our challenges, again, were our security and user acceptance. Security being the biggest issue because you have so many ramifications behind the information that goes through hospital computers. So our first step was to do a needs assessment or needs analysis. This was a preliminary deal, kind of pulled our heads together, and we addressed what the users needed through distribution and collection of surveys and interviews. As we conducted the needs analysis through the integration process, we identified compatible processes, identified best practices. We were to conduct a Q&A with department heads, initiate timeline rollout by segment, establish training parameters, establish a training schedule, identify trainers from department to establish decentralized training for full integration. This was part of the process to streamline it, to make it more scalable, and knock off the additional time on the back end. Through the needs analysis, a needs assessment, we've determined that there was to establish a security framework for a host. And under that were security umbrellas, desktop, and mobile devices. We wanted to establish consistent user behavior analysis assessments. And we also wanted to define and outline vendor protection. Another point was that we conducted implementation of the new system. We would establish backup of the current system that would be cloud-based. Bridge all network connections to the new system, establish portfolios by the department, training implemented from within each department. And then we met the integration sustainment, and that would establish metrics within the departments to allow for feedback or user friendliness, verify network security constraints, establish follow-up schedules, and identify actions for handoff to the hospital from the pilot. Our use case diagram, which is our ServiceNow ticketing system, the very first processes was to design or think about who was going to be the individuals that had access to the actual service. And so we determined that there would be medical staff, back office staff, technicians, and human resources. And the walkthrough is that a medical staff would log in, and of course it would verify that password into that ticketing system. The technicians would address that ticket, and then of course once it addressed that ticket, it would the technician would either A, show up on site, or B, had the opportunity to do it from a computer portal. This is a breakdown of the user's medical staff. Medical staff enters and retrieves data from the database. It is responsible to collect certain information from patient. And of course, it uses devices within the network. The back office is composed of finance, fundraising, and others. These are generally your individuals that don't have access to the patients. They make requests to access certain information based on their roles. And they make technical requests for system use. Human resources can request account creation for new hires and temporary staffing. They request support of system use. And technicians address issues related to tickets. They also provide follow-up when the issue is not fully resolved or chance of reoccurrence. As for our ER diagram and the ServiceNow ticketing system, the determination was that there were 7 entities: staff member, ServiceNow, technical department, verify credentials, staff manager, technician, and human resources. The process started with the staff member, who then logs an issue in the portal of the ticketing system. Once the issue is approved by the respective staff member, a ticket is generated, and the technical department assigns a technician to resolve the issue within a period of time based on the priority of the problem. Human Resources Department provides new login credentials if the user is raising incident for the first time or error with login details. Here are our 7 entities. We have our staff member, ServiceNow, technical department, technician, staff manager, human resource, and of course, verify credentials. The process. The staff member provides login details in ServiceNow to raise an issue, and then log credentials are verified. Step 2, staff member logs an incident when faced with any technical or software problems in ServiceNow. In step 3, the representative of the staff or the staff manager approves the issue if it is a valid one. Step 4, technical department assigns a technician to resolve the issue and then updates in the portal. In step 5, human resources department provides new login credentials to the staff member if the user is logging an issue for the first time or if the staff member faces problems with login details. As far as entity relationships are concerned, the staff member in ServiceNow has a one-to-one relationship. The staff member in Human Resource Department has many-to-one relationship. The technical department and staff member has many-to-one relationship. Technical department and technician has one-to-one relationship. Technical department and staff member has one-to-one relationship. And the staff member and staff manager has one-to-one relationship. As far as the ER diagram determination, a staff member can be an employee related to St. Jude. Doctors, nurses, research scientists come under this category with the following attributes: employee ID, the join date, employee email address, employee mail address. The ServiceNow attributes are the login ID, password, and the request incident. The technical department attributes are the employee ID, the employee email address, incident ID, and managerial approval. The staff manager attributes are manager ID, incident ID, incident details, and incident approval. The technician attributes employee ID, employee email address, incident ID, address incident. And human resource attributes, they assign new login credentials. For our data flow diagram of the ServiceNow ticketing system, staff managing, staff manager info, status, HR info, warehouse, technical department, technician info, ticket info, staff, staff login, ServiceNow, and status. This process goes from staff managing, staff information is managed in the store, receives and sends the staff information and updates. Status, staff checks for status information. Staff login, verifies the staff login details and act as a medium to raise the ticket. ServiceNow receives the ticket generated, requests the warehouse for technician. Data stores. Ticket info stores, checks, and updates the ticketing information. HR info receives information from warehouse and assigns technician to the requested staff. Technician info. Technical department looks for technician information. Staff DB. ServiceNow process updates staff information in the database. Staff manager info manages staff management related information. Entities. Staff. Staff verifies the login information, checks for status updates, manages the staff information. Technical department looks for the technical information, confirms and updates the ticketing system. Warehouse sends the ticket confirmation to the technician team, receives requests from the service desk, updates to the HR team. For the implementation project, there were attributes of added value. With this ticketing implementation, there are frequent updates, standardization, training, imagery, and templates. As for frequent updates, every single piece of troubleshooting performed is described so that the next team to look at the problem will know what has been done and what they need to do in order to fix the issue. If an agent assigns a ticket and forgets to mention that he performed a simple troubleshooting procedure, the next team might send it back stating that it needs to be done before they can assist. This means delays for the customers and a less pleasant experience. Updating the ticket with everything that is done doesn't mean the agent needs to write long paragraphs about what the weather was like or what they had for lunch that day, but precise information about work that has been completed on the issue at hand. As for standardization, agents should all use the same process by collecting the user's details, contact details, issue description, and troubleshooting that has taken place. Create universal steps that agents should use on every call. Training. Some ticketing software allows for a test portal that will enable agents to create test tickets without the risk of annoying other teams by confusing them. Have agents that are struggling with the wild or inaccurate tickets to practice their ticketing procedures and hone their skills when the team is not busy. Get the agents that are doing well to share their best tips and tricks with the guys who aren't, thereby collaborating to make the team stronger. Imagery. It is far easier for the next team to look at a quick screenshot of the error, message, or issue at hand rather than imagining it from the description. Sometimes tickets go through with odd stories of little red dots, then bigger dots, and a green circle with blue and yellow bits in it. It would be far more comfortable for the next team to see a screenshot rather than your perception of the error or fault. It is not difficult to spend a few extra moments obtaining a screenshot when a ticket might be passed back and forth between teams if you do not. Templates. All help desks will get issues that they deal with more than others. Some help desks have failed orders every day, and some have password resets to deal with all the time. Look at the top 5 issues the help desk is tasked to deal with and create templates for the agents to use when they deal with the problem. If the agent fills in the model, there is less chance of getting something wrong, and the ticketing will be far quicker. As for our timeline, our integration time is 12 months. Doing so will provide a needs analysis, design phase, develop phase, implementation, and evaluation phase. We've selected a 3-month follow-on for integration transfer and handoff to the the IT section of the St. Jude Hospital. Total time will be 15 months. The team is comprised of 4 engineers at $75,000 a year, and there's going to be 1 project manager. Total time is going to be 80,000. Workspace, as far as on-site, $0 were allocated. Off-site, with Linked Alliance's offices, $70,000 for off-site. Equipment would be computers for hardware. Application development will require software, and mobile integration would require mobile integration software. Would be $50,000 budget. Licensing for the new ticketing system would have to meet state and federal mandate fees. Allocation, $150,000. Incidentals, $50,000. For a grand total cost analysis of $700,000 estimated within this budget breakdown.